Hello, I'm Jonathan Dean. I'm the Director of Admissions for our Geography, Earth Science and Environmental Science programmes. So in this video I'm going to talk you through these different degrees that we offer and why we think choosing to do one of these would be a really good choice for you. Okay, I'm going to start off by quickly introducing our 4 different degree options. So firstly we have our BSc Geography and BA Geography degrees. So with these 2 degrees, the first year is the same regardless of which one you're doing. So in that first year you'll do some human geography, some physical geography and develop geographical skills, because to get a geography degree you've got to have done some human and physical geography at some point in the degree. But then in second and third years you're then tailoring the degree to your interest. You're choosing some of your modules. So if you're doing BSc Geography, you could either just pick physical geography modules, or you could mostly pick physical geography modules with some human geography modules. And on BA Geography, second and third years, again, you can either just choose human geography modules, or you could mostly choose human geography modules, but with some physical geography in there as well. So the physical geography that we particularly specialise in teaching at Hull includes Earth surface dynamics, so things like rivers, geohazards, so looking at, say, volcanic eruptions and other hazards in the environment, and environmental change, looking at how climate is changing now, how it changed in the past, how we can better conserve our environment in a changing climate. And then the human geography that we particularly specialise in teaching includes sustainability and development, cities and globalisation, people, culture and place. Our third degree is BSc Environmental Science. So the reason you'd pick this, say, over BSc Geography is if you're interested in things like climate change, but also have an interest in more of the biology and ecology side of things. This is co-taught with our colleagues from biology, and yeah, looking at human impacts on the natural world, covering earth and biological sciences. And the ultimate goal is to provide you with the skills to go off and to find solutions to these problems that are facing the environment. And then finally, we have new for 2023, our Earth and Environmental Science degree. So this is a mixture of earth science, geology, and environmental science. So loads of practical and field work involved in this, as there are in our other degrees as well. And yeah, really trying to train you to become someone who can look at the earth in a sustainable way. How can we go and sustainably manage the earth's resources? So I'm going to go into much more detail on these 4 degrees in a minute, but firstly I'm going to talk about things like why coming to Hull would be a good thing, because obviously coming and doing the degree, it's not just about what you're studying, it's about living in the city and the wider university and city experience. So Hull is a really compact city that has everything you need. So a lot of students will live on campus in first year in some accommodation that was built just a few years ago, really close to your lecture theatres and practical classes. And then in second and third year, a lot of students might choose to live in houses with the friends they've made. And a lot of those houses are 10-15 minute walk from campus, some even closer. So yeah, really nice compact city, and it's easy to get into the city centre when you need to, and it's well connected to get you home with good rail and road links. And also it's usually seen as one of, if not the most affordable city for students to live in. So rent, for example, is cheap relative to other student cities. So yeah, now I'm going to go into more detail on those 4 different degrees that I was talking about. So I'm going to firstly give you 5 reasons why studying us would really be a really good thing to do. So firstly, our geography degrees are accredited by the Royal Geographical Society. Our environmental science degree is accredited by the Institute of Environmental Scientists, and then we will be looking to get the new Earth and Environmental Science degree accredited by the Geological Society. So what the point of accreditation is, it shows that someone external has looked at our degrees that we're offering and verified them. They've ticked a box and said, yeah, they are teaching what you should be learning on a geography for environmental science degree. Secondly, you are learning from experts if you come and study with us. So these are some of the people you'll be learning from, particularly if you're doing environmental science. There'll be more people from the biology department that will be also teaching you. So as lecturers, half of our job is to teach and the other half is to do research. And then when we are teaching you, particularly in those specialised second and third year modules, we'll be teaching you about our expert subjects. So I'll be teaching you about climate change. Eddie down here will be teaching you about tectonics. Pauline will be teaching you about sustainability from a social science perspective. So each of us has our own research interest and we will then teach you what we're experts in. So you are learning from experts. We can engage you in the cutting edge of knowledge and say what the latest research developments are in that field. Thirdly, we want to give you as much choice as possible in what you study. So you can really try and tailor your degree to your interests. Okay, so with BSc Geography and BA Geography, you can see the first year is a common first year, as I said before, some physical geography, human geography and geographical skills. But then you can see in your second and third years, you get some choice of what modules you're doing. So BSc Geography and BA Geography. So if you're doing BSc Geography, obviously you've got to mostly pick or entirely pick physical geography modules. If you're doing BA, you've got to mostly or entirely pick human geography modules. So you can see that there's, even in second and third years, there are some modules that are core you have to do, like your dissertation module and the field study modules. But as much as possible, we like to, as I said, try and allow you to tailor your degree to your interests. So say if you're doing BSc Geography, you could pick, oh, I want to mostly focus on hazards and climate change rather than rivers, for example. And you can do that by picking different modules. Okay, so again, you can pause on these slides if you want to look in more detail at the names of the modules. And yeah, they might change from year to year. The filtered destinations might change from year to year. The exact module offering might change from year to year. But this is what we're offering at the moment to give you a rough idea of what you would be studying. So that's the BSc Geography and the BA Geography. So you can see with the Geography degree, you've got things like sustainable futures, green economy, conservation and changing world, adapting to climate change, volcanoes and their hazards, cities and regions, environmental change. So that gives you an idea of the sorts of things you'd be studying with us. Environmental science, again, in second and third years, there's some choice of modules. So you can really try and tailor that degree to your interests. And with earth and environmental science, again, some choice of modules through the degrees. Okay, so obviously pause on each slide and have a look in more detail if you want to look at the module offerings there. As you will have seen from those module descriptions, we try and have a lot of field trips as part of our degrees because seeing the world really brings these subjects to life and helps you to understand what's going on a lot better. So in our geography, environmental science degrees, our current plans are in second year to have around a week-long trip to Spain. So that will be a core trip, so it'll be included in your tuition fees. There's no extra charge for that. But as well as that trip to Spain, we would have day trips, again, which would have no extra charge involved in them. So places like Scarborough, the East Yorkshire coast, Humber Estuary, Leeds, various places, depending on what modules you pick, to look at, on a day trip, gentrification or coastal erosion, or the glacial sediments. Because as I said, seeing the world, it's not just really interesting for you, but it really brings your subjects to life and allows you to understand what's going on so much better. And then for earth and environmental science, again, the current plans would be some trips around the UK, a trip to Spain and a trip to Cyprus are the current plans. But again, destinations might change from year to year. And then also the plans are to have optional trips. So in recent years, we've had a trip in third year for our geography students to Iceland. So that's an optional trip. So with that, there is an extra charge involved in that, but we keep costs as low as possible. So you can see some students on the bottom left there climbing on the glacier, at the bottom right at a waterfall. So yeah, usually like 10 to 20 students a year go on that trip. And then for environmental science in recent years, we've had various options, again combined with our biology colleagues, to places like Mallorca, Egypt, the Amazonian rainforest. So yeah, there's these optional trips where there's an extra charge for, as well as the core trips which are included in your fees. So yeah, field trips are really, really important part of our degrees. And then the final reason to come and study with us is that if you study with us, you'll become highly employable. So our graduate employability rates, the number of percent of our graduates in work or further study 6 months after graduating, are typically well over 90%. Because firstly, doing one of these degrees makes you highly employable in itself, because employers know to have got a geography for environmental science degree, you must have written some essays, done some statistics, done some independent projects, worked in a team. There's not many subjects where you develop such a wide range of skills, but also they need your geography, earth, and environmental science specific skills, because obviously there's so many jobs at the moment in the environment sector looking become net zero, town planners. There's loads of specific skills you'll learn as part of these degrees, as well as the general skills you will develop that make you really employable. And then we try and do extra things on top of that to give you an even better chance. So we'll, in the second year, we'll look at your CV and try and improve that. So by the time you apply for jobs, you've got a CV that someone has checked over. We've got our Students Future Service. They will help you. They will look at your CV. They could help you prepare for interviews. We bring recent graduates in to talk to our current students. So here, this is just where some of our recent graduates have ended up. So we bring some of them in to talk to you about how they got those jobs. And then we also have a module in third year called the Professional Consultancy module, where you get placed in a company and get work experience with them, and then you write it up. So it counts as part of your degree. We mark the write-up that you've done from that. But what you're doing is probably an afternoon a week or something. You're going and working for a company during one of the terms. So giving you really good work experience there for your CV without you having to take time out of your degree. So yeah, you'll become highly employable doing one of these degrees. Okay, so just a few other things. So if you can't get on straight onto the 3-year degree, because you haven't quite got the UCAS points requirements that I'll come to in a minute, we have the foundation year. So this is an extra year before you go on to the 3-year degree. For people that haven't met the UCAS points requirements, so some people on the foundation year might come straight out of school, just haven't got the UCAS points requirements during school for whatever reason. And some people on the foundation year might be have been out of education for a while, might have been in jobs, but don't have the UCAS points requirements to go straight onto the degree. So we're doing this foundation year. So yeah, designed to bridge the gap between A levels and university. So you'll be doing some study skills. How do you go and find appropriate literature to use in your assignments? Some geography, earth and environmental science specific content, and then some content like data analysis. Okay, so to go straight on to the 3-year degrees, what we require is generally 120 UCAS points, but we can be flexible on that for various reasons. So if you haven't quite got 120 or not quite predicted the 120, still apply. You can talk to me. My email address will be at the end of this video. Still talk to us. Don't get put off. We can definitely be flexible in certain circumstances. So but 120 is generally what we ask for. For environmental science and earth and environmental science, we require a science, and what we define as a science is listed there, so it includes geography. To get straight into foundation year, 80 UCAS points, but again, we can be flexible. So if there's extenuating circumstances, if you've got loads of work experience, we can take that into account if you haven't quite got 80. So yeah, the message is please do apply to us. We can be flexible with those offers. So just go through now a few frequently asked questions that you may be thinking of as well. We often get asked these. So can I get work experience as part of my degree? So I just talked about how we have that professional consultancy module in third year where you can get work experience as part of your degree. Study abroad. Now this is a bit different. This is an extra year. This is added on to your degree. So between what would be your second year at Hull and what would have what would have been your final year, an extra year is inserted in there. So recently we've had students going to University of Alabama, to Helsinki, Utrecht, Malta, various places. So those European ones that I've talked about, the degrees there were taught in English. You don't have to learn the language of the country to do those. So yeah, we've got a list of universities that we're partners with. You go to one of those universities for the year. We'll support you in setting up that placement, and also when you're there, we will try and make sure you're okay. We'll check in with you. But yeah, really good experience if you want to study abroad, because firstly it means you're going to a different university and learning from different lecturers. So they have different specialisms. So you'll be learning different topics that you would learn at Hull. But also obviously a really good opportunity to see the world and live in a different country for a year. So that's an option. You can either apply to us with BSc Geography with study abroad or whatever degree you want to do, or if you haven't added that on when you apply, but in first or second year you decide you want to do that, just come and talk to us and we can add that study abroad on to your degree. And also if you've applied with study abroad and decide you don't want to do it in first and second year, we can remove that option. So we can be really, really flexible with the study abroad and add it on or take it away in that first or second year when you're deciding if you really want to do that. Now, teaching experience. This is a bit like the professional consultancy module. We also have a module where you get placed in a school for a term and you would do, say, one afternoon a week for a few weeks, getting teaching experience, and then you write it up. It's part of your degree. You don't have to take time out of your degree doing this. This is a module that counts for part of your degree, but you're getting really good teaching experience. So often if you're applying for a PGCE, you'll be asked, do you have teaching experience? And so this is a really good opportunity to get that. But it might be that you're not sure if you want to go into teaching. So this is a really, really good chance for you to work out if teaching really is what you want to do before you then apply to do the PGCE or whatever teaching program you want to do. For the field trips, we've touched on this. So as I said, any core field trips, any field trips that are a core part of your degree, there is no charge for. But optional trips like that trip to Iceland that I talked about, that we often run for the geography students in the third year, there is an additional charge involved in that. Do you have to do geology at A level to do the Earth and Environmental Science degree? No. We would expect most of our students doing that new degree would not have done geology at A level. We assume a basic level of knowledge in that we would be teaching you the basics. We're not assuming you know everything about geology before you come and study with us. So don't worry about that. No, you don't have to have studied that in order to study this Earth and Environmental Science degree. Okay, so that's a very quick run through. Obviously, you can go to our YouTube channel and look at more videos that go into more detail on our field trips. You can look at videos from some of our current students who will go into detail on what life was like to study with us. They give you a tour around Hull, various things. If you have any questions, there's my email address to email me. And obviously, if you come to an open on applicant day, we'll be able to go into more detail with you on exactly what you would study with us. But thank you very much for listening.